Data is the new currency, but it's meaningless without the right framework to capture its value. Namaste and a very happy new year to all. My name is Aakkshara Rijju, and today I'll be talking about the process of learning. Next slide, please. The process of learning can be summarized by our philosophical concepts, which start off with Shruti, that can resemble data, Smriti, which can be a symbolization of information, Purana as knowledge, and Itihasa as wisdom. Next slide, please. Starting with Shruti, which in Sanskrit translates to that which can be heard, and it refers to the basic building blocks of understanding. Hence, it can represent data, as data is raw and fundamental observations which on its own won't really make much sense. So we learn data directly through the senses. We listen to or observe it. For example, when science or mathematics students are given random measurements of time without understanding the event they refer to, that piece of data wouldn't really make much sense. Similar to history or literature subjects, where data can act as a list of random dates or words from a poem. However, these pieces of unorganized data lay a foundation for learning. Next slide, please. Now, for these pieces of data to make sense, they need context or meaning, and that's where information comes, in the form of Smriti, which translates to that which can be remembered. It comes from experience and realization, and this happens through continuously reflecting upon the data, shaping it into an understandable and meaningful manner. As Smriti texts were derived from Shruti, it provides answers to questions such as who, what, when, and where. For instance, if we go back to the measurements of time example, with information, there would be a background, such as the duration of a chemical reaction, or the time period it takes for an apple to fall off a 10-foot tall tree, perhaps. So this shows that reflection is crucial for the development of information, and that connecting the information together is important for the development of knowledge. Next slide, please. Now comes Purana, which symbolizes knowledge and refers to the ancient texts or tales that we learn from. Puranas are the encyclopedic works which combine a wide range of information. They allow us to maintain structures and provide explanations to understand difficult topics. They explore the hows and whys of each particular event. In an academic viewpoint, if we take geography as an example, with knowledge, we would understand how different regions shape human societies, cultures, and economies. Or for accounting students, with knowledge, we can understand the integrity of financial reporting. And Puranas are symbolized as knowledge because they're the organization of information and data. They give us the ability to make decisions, solve problems, and act upon what we want to achieve. So when we do that, this happens when we start connecting our reflections. And if these connections are guided by the principles and the value systems of the Purana and the Gita, we gain a deeper understanding of the self. And when the self powers the mind to use its knowledge to help uplift society, that's when it turns into wisdom. Next slide, please. Now, wisdom is the capacity to use well-related knowledge to help make well-informed decisions by applying different concepts to different situations. For instance, concepts in architecture, engineering, and computer science, they all can be applied to better buildings, transportation systems, and communication networks. This is similar to Itihasas, meaning thus it happened. Itihasas like the Ramayana and Mahabharata are epic stories that reflect upon human experiences, ethical challenges, and the long-term effects of one's actions. They provide a deeper understanding about morality, the human nature, and the relationships of all things. Hence, Itihasa can symbolize wisdom. Because understanding and applying these timeless lessons is more important than just knowing what happened or why it even happened. This also shows that wisdom can be related to the subtle intellect, as the subtle intellect helps understand unity and diversity to help increase our selflessness. It makes us see beyond what is the obvious and make good decisions and judgments based on moral insight and awareness. While compared to the gross intellect, which refers to the power of our mind that gathers information and data taught by school about the outside world. It uses the analytical mind to differentiate and use the knowledge gathered in a more selfish manner through the dexterities and skills obtained in the material world. Next slide, please. Now we can apply the concepts of wisdom into our daily lives by incorporating the three elements which define the Bhagavad Gita. Starting with karma, which means action, and refers to the capabilities we show to the outside world, hence representing the body. Then there is bhakti,